So, Lone Rider here with the Hanwei Tinker longsword blade, and I tried to put a bit more of an edge on it, so we'll see what happens. This is, unfortunately, this stand is kind of wobbly, but let's give it a shot. Oh, yeah! Look at that. All right. I've made a bit of a mess of my floor, and it looks like the flood came, but I mean, that just went, ooh, yeah, having having an edge on your weapon makes all the difference, I guess. I mean, I was hitting stuff before and it was going flying, and um, I kind of despaired of ever sharpening this. And I did put a couple scratches in the blade when I was sharpening it. Basically, it came with a secondary bevel that at first glance didn't look bad at all. And then I just realized, like, yeah, that was pretty bad. And you can see the blade itself is a compromised design. It's probably as suited for thrusting as it is for cutting. And you certainly don't have a lot of mass near the tip. But that's it for light targets. It should cut fine. But, that's dependent on, well, does it have the right edge geometry? Not just the overall geometry of the blade, the shape, the taper this way, the distal taper, the this, that, there, the next thing, and all of that stuff. It's the edge itself. And the way the edge was originally, it went like this, and then it beveled. There was a secondary bevel that came to the end. And I was able to cut one or two water bottles with it, but it was like, it was more like chopping them than cutting them properly. This thing, that cut that I just did, I've never done that before. Um, and on top of it, even with the wobbly stand, I mean, the base just stayed there. So I am so psyched. This is actually, I mean, I love how it handles. It's very light. It's very nimble. It has a lot of flex. This isn't an anti-armor longsword, despite the blade profile. It's more of a, civilian dueling style, if you will. But this, it should cut well. And I was like, why doesn't it cut well? And I was doing a lot of research online and um, trying to read about it. And, some people were saying, well, they just come with a bad edge. Other people were saying, well, they've cleaned up their act and the edge is better now. Um, some people were saying they just don't like the sword. It doesn't perform well as a cutter. It's a nice looking sword. And if you just want a sword for, you know, messing around with, that's one thing. But if you want a sword to actually learn cutting techniques, it's not going to work. Um, well, I got this one to work sort of. So that, I mean, I've never done a cut like that before, not even with the katana. And I mean, admittedly, I'm training longsword, not katana, but katanas are supposed to be very easy and forgiving to cut with by comparison because they've got these giant chopping, slicing blades. They've got a curve, they've got a lot of mass, they usually don't have a secondary bevel, blah, 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 yada, yada, all that stuff. Um, I don't buy into a lot of the katana fanboy hype bullshit, excuse my French, but I will say that at first it was a lot easier to cut with the katana out of the box than it was to cut with this. And I'm kind of miffed about that. I wish manufacturers would put a better edge on their European swords. I honestly don't know if it's this myth that European swords were blunt, so or blunter, so that they just don't feel the need to put the edge on there, or maybe they feel people are buying them for just decorative to hang on the wall, whatever. But if it's sold as a sharp sword with a functional edge, it should cut. And you know, uh, this one just did. I was I'm really psyched about that. So I'm gonna go have a cup of coffee, eat my breakfast, and celebrate because I finally got this thing to work. And I say finally. I've only had it a few days, but I'm just really psyched. Lone Rider out.